You know, we heard an interesting panel just now talking about ESG, talking about permitting, talking about community support. And, you know, I used to kid and joke and say, you know, look, at the end of the day, we've always said that it's Dr. Copper. He's got a PhD in economics. Well, I really think that he's switching majors and he's going into political science. Because the location of your asset matters a heck of a lot more than a lot of other variables that you're used to seeing. What you're looking at here is the Gaspé copper site. It was a past producer for 50 years. So a very well-established mine for a number of generations in Quebec, a pro-mining site. This is obviously, as it says, it used to be a copper mine, combined open pit and underground. We've already declared a resource since announcing the option to acquire this asset about 2 weeks ago. 456 million tons at 0.31% copper. It's going to keep growing, both in terms of grade and tonnage, and I'm going to go over that shortly here. But really what I want to emphasize is that at the end of the day, you can permit mines in Quebec on schedule, on time, on budget. And that is very, very important these days as you see permitting risk increase or location of assets become very complex. When you see Barrick announce that it's going back to Pakistan to advance an asset that's important in its portfolio, you start to have to wonder, well, wait a second, I need to be in a tier 1 jurisdiction because it's not going to be easy to go out and develop some of these assets. So you can see here the existing infrastructure, which is to say not much. As I mentioned before, this was in operation for 50 years. Operated by Noranda. It was the largest copper mine in eastern North America. With the resource, we are now the largest copper project in eastern North America. So very great location and quite a lot of copper tons on site. The important thing here is, well, why didn't Noranda mine those tons if they were already there? They ran into a little issue. Back then, when you were building mines in the 1950s, you made a discovery, you put the mill, and then you put the smelter right next to the mine. Well, they so happened to put the smelter and the mill right on top of ore mineralization. So they were constrained. They successfully continued to mine it for 50 years, but in the late 90s, they couldn't do a pit pushback without absolutely destroying all of the existing infrastructure. So Noranda was stuck in this complex situation where they had to shut down the operation. They did. They successfully closed down the site, moved most of the team into the Antamina build in the early 2000s. And Noranda always viewed this as an opportunity to come back. If the copper price ever started creeping back up to, you know, 250, 350, we'll come back and develop this site again. The issue is that Noranda merged with Falconbridge. Noranda got acquired by Xstrata. Xstrata got acquired by Glencore, and this asset lay dormant. So after what amounts to many months and, to be quite honest, many years of negotiation, we have successfully done a transaction to acquire this asset from Glencore. Glencore is going to become a major shareholder of Osisko Metals going forward to help us advance and develop this asset. Now, as you can see here, we also have a second asset up in Northwest Territories, 52 million tons of high-grade lead zinc, all in an open pit operation. So we very much a large-scale base metal developer. All of our assets located in Canada, all of them historical past producers. Gaspé Copper, town of Murdochville, was purpose-built for the mine. Population was about 2,000 people. It's now down to about 500. They want us to build the mines. They want jobs back. The government wants us to build the mine. They want copper produced in the province. There's a copper smelter in the province. For them, they see it as a circular economy. Build the mine, produce copper concentrate, smelt that copper inside Quebec. You have to understand that obviously Quebec is a major hydropower. So for them, energy transition, moving towards electric cars, electrification is an extremely important platform for all governments in the province, whether it's, you know, right or left leaning. And so for them, this is a little bit of a slam dunk, the perspective that they can supply copper into North America, which is obviously a key commodity for them. You can see here the historical operation. You can see the smelter that used to be right next to the open pit. The underground operation was quite unique. It was very much large-scale room and pillar. We're talking about stopes that ran 90 feet. almost 30 meters, so it was quite sizable. You can see here the site as it stands today, the town of Murdochville, which is just outside the historical pit. And what you see, that sort of green outline, is what we're going to be doing as a super pit. But now we're going to start looking into how we're going to grow this. This copper resource that we put out after about a month's worth of work based on historical drilling from Noranda already outlines the largest copper resource, already outlines more tons than was historically mined at Gas Bay Copper. It does not include any silver, which we know historically was mined there. It does not include any molybdenum, which we know was historically mined there. We believe, furthermore, that the sulfide to oxide ratio is conservative. All said and done, we've already launched a 30,000 meter drill program. We have 3 drill rigs turning right now. A 4th is going to be coming on site. This resource, which is right now in the inferred category, will be in the indicated category by year end. And you will see moly credits, you will see a higher copper grade, you will see silver credits. So on a copper equivalency basis, you're going to be closer to about 0.4% copper. But this is just the start of Gas Bay Copper. And I want to point out here 2 different things. You see at the bottom there, Porphyry Mountain. This is a copper porphyry skarn deposit. The underground mineralization that was mined was the Scarn front, sitting at around 1%. They mined the open pit, that was the porphyry. It was always assumed that the porphyry at Mount Copper formed the Scarn. Late in the mine life, in the late 90s, just as they were shutting down, they realized that that wasn't the case. The 2 did not happen at the same time of mineralization. There was another source of mineralization that led to the Scarn front. That led to the discovery of Porphyry Mountain. It is the absolute monster here that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to jump these slides in the interest of time. This was discovered right at the end of the mine life. It's pretty deep, starts a kilometer down. We are talking about, if you look at that last drill hole, 822 meters at almost over 1.1% copper equivalency. There is silver credits on top of that. There is a total of 15 holes that have been put into this. It is open in every single directions. We already have 17 years of mine life potential, well, I should say 15 to 20, in the open pit. We have another 15 to 20 years minimum in this underground portion, this Porphyry Mountain. This is going to be once more a generational asset in one of the top tier mining jurisdiction of the world. Right now, we are currently working on converting that inferred resource into the indicated category. We are also going to start re-drilling Porphyry Mountain because those holes that you saw there, all of them ended in mineralization. It is absolutely undefined. The 2.5 kilometer skarn front between Porphyry Mountain and the underground production at Needle Mountain is undrilled. So this is also an area that we are going to be looking to expand. That is only one half of Osisko Metals. We also have Pine Point, and I'm going to close on that with 1 minute left to go. Pine Point is one of the largest lead zinc resources in North America and in the world. If it was in production, it would be the 6th largest zinc mine at its peak. It is a unique asset. Another past producer, produced for 24 years. The grade you see there is open pit, making it quite unique relative to other lead zinc mine, which are typically smaller scale and underground. Not only that, it has all of the necessary infrastructure. It has rail, road, power, just like Gas Bay Copper, infrastructure that you need to build a base metal mine. You cannot put your concentrate on a train, on a plane. You cannot put it on a truck. It needs rail to leave your access site. I'll close on this. Pine Point also produces one of the cleanest concentrate in the world. Ultra high purity concentrate, and as you start to see mines concentrate grade lower and more impurities enter smelter feed, they need access to this type of material. So what do we have in Pine Point? 7 billion pounds of lead zinc mineralization and growing, 3 billion pounds of copper mineralization, and that is going to grow and double quite rapidly as we start drilling. So we're going to have an updated PEA for Pine Point in about a month's time. We're going to have an updated resource year end alongside an updated PEA at Gas Bay Copper. So that's it in a nutshell. Thank you.